Somewhere along the way, just trust God became a spiritual excuse to sit on our hands and do nothing. You've heard it, maybe even said it.
God will provide.
I'm just waiting on the Lord. If it's His will, He'll make a way. And yes, God does provide. Yes, there are seasons of waiting. Yes, His timing matters. But can I be honest with you? Sometimes we're not trusting God. We're avoiding responsibility. And that's not faith. That's fear wrapped in Scripture. Just trust God becomes dangerous when it's used to avoid decisions, delay obedience, or excuse disobedience. Let's go deeper. There's a world of difference between trust and passivity, between waiting and stalling, between surrender and avoidance. Look at the parable of the talents in Matthew 25. The master gives 3 servants different amounts. 2 go out and multiply what they're given. The third one, he buries his, says, "I knew you were a hard man, so I hid it." That fellow didn't lack belief. He lacked courage. He called it caution, but it was really fear. And guess what? He lost what he was given. Friend, that's the risk when we spiritualize procrastination. If you're saying, "I'm just trusting God," but you're ignoring strategy, neglecting stewardship, or staying silent when God's already spoken, well, that's not faith, that's avoidance. So let me ask you straight. What are you calling trust? That's really just fear. Where have you delayed starting a business, having a hard conversation, making a pivot, or taking a step just because it felt safer to do nothing and wait on God? I see this over and over in the financial lives of good people. They say,
God will bless me when the time is right.
I'm not going to force anything. I'll start when I feel more peace. But friend, peace doesn't come from avoidance. Peace comes from obedience. God doesn't bless passivity, He blesses participation. Trust is active. It looks like Noah building a boat with no rain in sight, like Abraham moving cities without a road map, like Peter stepping out of the boat before he knew how to swim. Faith isn't sitting still. It's stepping forward while trusting God with the outcome. When someone tells me they're trusting God, I ask, what are you building? What are you sowing? What are you risking in obedience? Because trust without action isn't trust at all. Let me share something I've learned the hard way. Through decades in business, ministry, and life, God rarely blesses what you refuse to touch. That deal you keep putting off, that course you know you should launch, that budget you avoid, that boundary you keep refusing to set, God can't multiply what you're unwilling to steward. So here's the real danger in just trust God. You might be waiting on a move that only happens when you take a step of faith. Let's not forget, Proverbs is full of action, not excuses. Proverbs 21:5 says, "The plans of the diligent lead to profit as surely as haste leads to poverty." Diligence, strategy, movement, not sitting around hoping for a miracle. Even the Israelites had to step into the sea before it parted. They had to march around Jericho before the walls fell. Miracles are often triggered by movement. So if you've been stuck, waiting for your breakthrough, ask yourself, am I really trusting God, or am I hiding behind churchy language to avoid responsibility? Now don't feel condemned. Hear my heart. This isn't about grinding harder. It's about partnering with heaven. God's blessing doesn't flow through fear. It flows through movement, led by wisdom. And wisdom is what most folks skip when they say, just trust God. So let me give you a better way to trust Him. Trust God and review your finances. Trust God and start the project. Trust God and get wise counsel. Trust God and take that uncomfortable step you've been delaying. That's what real trust looks like. It's not passive, it's prophetic. Here's your invitation. If you want your financial life to change, don't just wait harder. Walk in wisdom, obey quickly, steward well. Partner with the spirit of wealth, not just pray for one. You can trust God, but trust Him with movement. Trust Him with decisions. Trust Him with uncomfortable obedience. That's the kind of trust that builds a legacy. I'm Rob Saunders. If this lit a fire in you, go ahead and subscribe. Because here, we're not just talking about wealth, we're building it the kingdom way. With wisdom, with courage, and with action. And may the Lord bless your steps, every single one. I'll see y'all in the next one.